What song? It's our soundtrack. Nope. Oh, no soundtrack. Are we?
In the jungle.
No.
Sorry.
Skip.
Skip.
Okay.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you doing? Gosh.
I
what-
do. No, I have
you
a
just want to
question.
jump in?
Yeah, I do.
I'm doing great.
That was a
Thanks.
quick start.
Hi, Chris. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you.
Hey, Dylan. How are you today?
I'm good.
I like your shirt. Go Balls.
Well,
Is that
yeah.
balls?
Rachel's
to me
gonna
it
ask
is.
me why I wore this shirt because it has a tiny little hole up here, though.
That's
We're
okay,
really
it's like
sorry,
a street.
Rachel.
Yeah.
Streetwear.
Sorry, Delaney. Ask your question.
No, I do have a question. Okay. Have you ever been stuck somewhere that you don't want to be? Like you get in the car
Oh.
and your friend drives somewhere and you want to leave. What is
Traffic.
like, what's your worst nightmare? You're like, I'm stuck here.
I mean, I've been in, I don't know if I should say this or not, plenty of conversations
Oh no.
that where you're looking
Corn
out
maze.
for
A
salvation.
corn maze. Corn maze is really not it.
I remember I was like 8 years old in a corn maze and the sun was going down and I was starting to panic. You know, you start to get a little crazy. in
I
there.
see that.
One time I was stuck on a date because he picked me up and I was like, should I fake an injury? Like, how do I get out of this?
Oh.
It was a while back.
Did you do
but
it? Did you?
No, I endured and I really look back and it was a tough time. I've also, have you ever been like stuck in a room and you just get that? Do you ever get a little bit claustrophobic or no?
Oh,
Occasionally.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the thought of being trapped somewhere does really freak me out. Like if a door, one time I got stuck and the door wasn't opening and I was like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So that is not a fun
That's
time.
scary.
But we're not
I'm
going
not
to
trying
talk.
to get
We're not
stuck.
going to talk about corn mazes, believe it or not.
Oh,
What a
please,
fun conversation.
No more corn mazes.
Chris is like corn
That's a
mazes are
fall
my
episode.
worst nightmare. Yeah. What are your fears? Facing your fears is our next episode. But I have a question about breaking the pattern of sin. So just thinking about this idea of being somewhere we don't want to be. I know it's silly and goofy, but just thinking about, man, in real life, there are things that I clearly avoid. Like I don't want to get stuck anywhere. I drive to everything. I don't like feeling stuck.
Right.
Because let's
Yeah.
be honest, being stuck somewhere or being stuck in like a situation is not where we want to be. We want to be able to be free for something, but I don't feel like we have that same diligence with sin. We get
Wow.
stuck in these sin loops where
Yeah.
we're like, man, I'm just stuck in this sin. I'm stuck in it. And I know that feeling. I've been there, but it's crazy how I'm so proactive to not get stuck in a dinner that I don't want to go to or a corn maze.
Yes.
But then it's sin, and I'm like, it's fine. I'll
That's
get
a
out of
really
it
good
eventually.
point.
And it's just like that's where my brain's been at. Like, why do we have such a diligence to get out of like worldly situations, but then we're content in sin? So let's talk about it.
And how do we break it?
First of all, why
Yeah.
do you think we're content in sin?
Oh, I got
That's a
something.
tough
then
question.
say it.
I mean, this is not a this is not a lighthearted thing. This is just what's been on my mind lately is this pattern of sin, but
Yeah.
why are we so content in it?
I think this is like the peak of it. Like you nailed it without saying it. Like I want to get out of traffic because like let's say you're talking about traffic.
Yeah.
I want to get out of traffic because I can get to my destination sooner.
Yeah.
The feeling of being stuck here isn't benefiting me in any way.
Right.
So therefore the opposite of traffic is no traffic and I would rather have that.
Right.
When it comes to sin, we create reasons on why we believe the sin feels better
Yeah.
than coming up with stronger reasons on why the sin is actually worse and the other side of it is actually better.
Yeah.
So we will rationalize our sin because it's either easy, it's comfortable, and we like the result of the sin itself. So if you're not coming up with reasons on why the act of not sinning again is better,
Yeah.
I think you just nailed something that I've never thought about.
Wow.
What you said, you don't want to be stuck in traffic, so you're ready to get to your destination. Do we actually have a destination in mind for
right?
our Christian life?
That's good.
I don't think a lot of us do. Like you don't have this aim of your life, which for all of us should be to be conformed to the image of Jesus.
Yeah.
But if we don't actually have that destination in mind, well, being stuck in a sin loop, it's like you don't like it, but yeah, I'm just kind of spinning my tires anyways. It's no big deal. We're not actually going anywhere.
Exactly. You don't have a B. You're at
Yeah.
A, but you don't really care if you make it to B or not.
Yeah,
or
but
you
if
don't even know where B is.
If we have this vision for our life of, man, I want to make sure when I'm 85 years old, I look a lot like Jesus.
Yeah. That's
That
good.
my life does. Well, then I need to make sure I get this figured out
and
today.
what does Jesus look like?
Yeah.
And the only way you can do that is by knowing Jesus, getting in his word, and being
Yeah.
close to him. So like you can't figure out what B is, B being closer to God, if you're not actually actively getting closer to God, because you've got nothing to aim for. You're throwing the bullseyes and you
Yeah.
don't even know, or you're
Yeah.
throwing the darts and you don't even know where the bullseye is.
Yeah. And it's wild to me how sin really does become comfortable, like sin patterns become comfortable,
Yes.
because it's like we're in it. And at first, like that sin feels like, ooh, didn't love that. Maybe it's lying or gossiping or lust, like whatever it is, like whatever your sin is that you struggle with. And sin is just anything that doesn't honor God, anything that is not honoring to the Lord. So these patterns become comfortable. And I've been thinking about it a lot because we're reading through the Old Testament as a church and just looking through Exodus of how the Israelites were in Egypt. They were in slavery. They were in this horrible situation.
Yeah.
And the Lord wants to lead them out of it. And what's crazy in Exodus 13, it talks about when Pharaoh let the people go. This is verse 17. When Pharaoh let the people go, God did not lead them along the road to the land of the Philistines, even though it was nearby. For God said, the people will change their minds and return to Egypt if they face war. And so what God was saying is, I have to lead these people down a very specific route, because as soon as hard times come, they're just going to want to go back to the difficulty. They're
Yeah.
going to want to go back to enslavement. They're going to want to go back to it because they just
Yes.
know it. And I think we're the exact same with our sin. We're so used to our sin and we're so comfortable in our sin pattern, we don't even know how to live without it anymore. And if we're not careful, we don't even realize that we're stuck in the loop. We've just been in it for such a long time, and we haven't looked in the mirror and said, oh, that's not God honoring. So we really do become comfortable in a life of sin and comfortable in whatever it is that we're struggling with.
So few people, I don't know why I've thought about this a few times lately. So few people actually make any kind of significant change
Yeah.
throughout the course of their life.
1000%.
Most people, I mean, I'm including myself in this. Like, what have I ever adjusted in my life? Most people, you kind of live the same life the whole time without.
Can you give an example of like what a change would be to you?
Ooh.
I guess the easy one that comes to mind is if you know you need to live a healthier lifestyle,
Yeah.
whether that be your food or exercise or whatever. Most people, you're going to eat the same way your whole life. You're never actually going to make a change that lasts.
Yeah.
Like I said, myself included in this category. But man, how cool would it be to actually make a change in your life?
But you're like hitting the nail on the head too, because, okay, let's talk about eating well, the gym. These are easy. This is not sinful. It's just a thought. But
be.
Could be. Whole other conversation. Sorry. But the gym. I was reading an article the other day and it said the average American goes to the gym one time a year. Once. And
Sorry.
it's like, no, but it's like, here's the thing.
That's crazy.
So often we get in our mind, I want to do something.
That's crazy.
I want to get out of something, and
Yeah.
we're not actually proactive to do it. And it's the same thing with sin. I have been in situations before where I'm confronted of that's not God honoring. This is sinful, but I'm not taking a lot of action and I'm not putting a lot of effort to getting myself out of the cycle because it's comfortable. People are like, I want to go to the gym to be healthier, but they're comfortable not being healthy.
Exactly.
So
You
you're
have
like,
to have a
it's
better
fine.
reason. Yeah.
It's fine
Yeah.
because you can have all the up here, up in your mind. You can be like, I really want to do this. But if you're not actually taking action, it's just a thought.
Yeah.
It's not, nothing's changing. Nothing's changing because you're not actually putting anything into action. And sin is so sneaky. Sin is so sneaky. I think about Hebrews where it's like throw off, Hebrews 12, where it says throw off anything that entangles you. And it's talking about sin, like take off and throw off anything that entangles you. But we're literally running around as people with backpacks on full of boulders, trying to move through life, but it's just full of boulders of sin and just of things that we're stuck in. And we're not actually taking the time to say, I want to get rid of this and I want to get out of this pattern.
Yeah. So we need to have a strategy. Like we all got some sort of sin in our life that we would like to change.
Whether we want to or not.
So what is that first step? I mean, in my mind, for one, it's just listening to the conviction of the Holy Spirit to identify
Yeah.
what that thing is so that you know, you spend time in the Word so that you can see, okay, this thing in my life doesn't line up with Scripture. Okay, now we know the thing. I need somebody to help me. Like have that friend, have a few friends. I got one good friend that I go to Chick-fil-A with a lot. It's a great place to talk
about sin.
Yeah, talk about sin. You know?
Holy chicken, sinful
As
behavior.
a church.
But it's Caleb. We go and we talk about the stuff like, dude, something that's bothered us. We felt we've had a bad attitude about. Like he's the one. He's basically the person other than Rachel that knows all my thoughts. Because he can help me say, yeah, you're probably wrong and whatever that's. But he's also the person that I can tell if I'm struggling with something. I know I can go to him, and he is not going to meet me with condemnation.
Yeah.
Like he's going to listen to me, and he loves me,
Caleb's awesome.
and will help me. So you can come next time, Chris. You want to come?
Dude,
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Paid lunch?
But have what?
Charge it.
I didn't offer
Charge it
that.
to Dylan's card.
But having that person or a couple of different people who you really trust,
Yeah.
you got to have that person. It's really, really hard to do by yourself.
Yeah, we talked about this in our church episode, Is Church Necessary? Like, we have to have community around
Yeah.
us. This is one of those reasons why church is so important to your life and why you're shooting yourself in the foot or rationalizing your own sin if you're not attending a church.
Yeah.
Because you become your own God.
Yeah.
So if we're turning our relationship with Christ into whatever rules and boundaries that we create, then we are completely off base and we have to have someone else in our life.
And I think one of the hardest parts about the Christian life is we think, okay, once I come to know the Lord, all my sin is taken care of. So now I can just live.
Yeah.
I can just live my life. And the hard reality is that sin is going to be a problem from the time we take our first breath till our last.
Yeah.
And if we're not taking time to actually pause and say, what in my life right now is not God honoring, there are things that are growing in the dark. There are things that are rising up. And first, it's like looking in the mirror and saying, like, what in me is not glorifying to the Lord? But then telling somebody about it, because once again, sin thrives in the dark. Like, if nobody knows I'm struggling with whatever, let's just say Delaney's struggling with anger. She's angry at a lot of things. And this is not where I'm at right now. But to clarify, this is not a session with you guys. But it's not, okay, now I know, so I'm just going to deal with it. I have to tell somebody, not because God doesn't know about it. Like, God's aware. God's aware before I'm aware. But it's like when somebody actually knows about it, one, it loses its power over me.
Yeah.
Because when sin's there in the back of our mind and our heart, we're just like, ugh, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. It's actually just growing and it's becoming more of a problem and a harder situation to get out of. But if I sit down, like one of my friends, if I sit down with Dania and I'm like, hey, Dania, I need your help. Like, I'm really struggling with this. One, I've said it out loud, so I've acknowledged it. But two, somebody's actually listening to hold me accountable.
Yes.
Hey, you brought this up. How are you this week?
Yeah.
Why do you think we're so afraid to bring sin to somebody else? Like, if you guys are being honest, like what, and I feel like this could be different, guy, girl. It could be just different in general. But why do you think sometimes it's so hard to just say it out loud?
We hate being wrong. Like we hate feeling like the way that we've been living our life is wrong because we find comfort in what we do every day. And when that begins to get questioned, you kind of begin to question yourself and like your own self-sustainability and your own power doing what you feel like is best. So I feel like that's a big piece of it.
Yeah.
For sure. And just to emphasize what you're saying, after one of our recent worship gatherings, there was a guy who wanted to talk to me, and he was like visibly so uncomfortable because he knew he needed to tell somebody this thing.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was so hard for him to actually say the words out loud. And it's weird. 'Cause sometimes we'll confess something to God and it doesn't feel like as big of a deal because, well, God's invisible, right? But to say it out loud to a person, like it was in my mind, I'm going, dude, just say it.
And another child of God. Like there's something about having like a face to the name. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, yeah, you want to say it. Well, now that person knows.
Yeah.
They know they have something on me, you know?
Yeah. It does feel scary.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
they know.
I could go ruin his life if I wanted to.
and it's
Whoever's
embarrassing,
life if you go start telling stuff. But
That's a reminder, too, for us. One, I'm afraid because I don't want people to look at me different. That's my big
Yeah.
thing. Like, I don't want to tell you this because then you're going to look at me. That's just my own insecurity of like, and I hate failing. Like you said, I'm afraid of failing. I don't want to disappoint God. I don't want to disappoint people. But the other thing is a reminder for us is you're called to confess your sin, yes, to God and to people, but sharing it with safe people. Because there are people that are not safe. And you shouldn't have to be wondering, the person that you share it with, your struggles, you shouldn't have to be wondering, are they going to tell somebody about this?
Yeah.
Because that's causing a whole other problem. And if you're sharing other people's sin, that's on you. Like, you got a sin issue.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that, I tell my my life group, there's one thing I don't tolerate. It's spreading other people's like life struggles.
Yeah.
You do that, you're out. Goodbye. We're not going to do that.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Because like we can work through you having a struggle with what you're looking at on your phone or in your relationship or pride. We can deal with that. But if you're taking other people's struggles and trials and you're sharing it to other people, that's not a safe place. And that's not what the church is meant to be. The church is meant to be, it's not supposed to be this place where it's like, can I share this? Do I not? It should be like, I know I can share this here because these people care about me and they will hold it safe.
I actually have like a kind of a personal experience in the past like week that
Oh,
I can
tell
kind
us.
of share. So, for the last like for the last like 5 or 6 days, I kind of just been going through like a lot of like harsh emotions, like
Yeah.
up and down. And I feel like, and this isn't like, hey, look at what I'm doing. This is just like, I think a lot of people can like let these things go on for such a long amount of time. Now, part of me is wondering, like, if you noticed something was happening within the first few days and like
Yeah.
you started to feel like you were falling into the sin. For me, I think I was just like penting up a lot of like emotion, a lot of anger, and I wasn't lashing out at anyone. I was just like keeping it to myself. I realized that was happening like 3 days in a row. And I'm like, I can't let this keep happening.
Yeah.
So like the first thing that I did, first of all, I was bringing it to God in prayer. The second thing I did was I brought it to my spouse. The third thing I did was I walked into our life group and I had to admit it to like
Yeah.
a group of people that I do trust, but it's still like, man, I just want you to think that everything's going okay with me. Like
I want to be thriving.
yeah, I want you to
Yeah.
think that I'm thriving and my marriage is great and everything's good for me. But like that is not the point of our life groups,
Yeah.
people. Like
Yeah.
it's not the point. And so my point is like recognize it quickly. Like, you know, you get to the point where you recognize it quickly, bring it to God immediately. He already knows, so you might as well bring it to him already.
Yeah.
Bring it to your spouse, bring it to your life group people, and then have people keep you accountable with it. And go see someone, like go see a therapist. Just got off the phone with good old Ralph. Love that guy.
Oh,
Shout out
love-
Ralph. I don't know why
shout
I pointed
out.
up like he
Not,
passed
you're
away.
not in heaven, Ralph. You're here
Ralph
on
is
earth.
right here in his car talking to me on FaceTime. And seriously, it makes a huge difference. And suddenly, a sin that you could have been struggling with for years can maybe go down to like inside of a week. Like you're
Yeah.
getting it taken care of. Not that everything's fixed and there aren't still
Yeah.
consequences as a result of that, but you're able to get a hold on it. You're able to have people keep you accountable, and you're setting yourself up for success right off the bat instead of just keeping it all to yourself.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you listed a bunch of relationships right then. If you don't feel like you have those relationships right now, start today looking
Yeah.
for them.
Get
Whatever,
Wow.
whatever. If you don't have a local church that you're part of, find one
Yes.
today.
Yes.
If you're not in some sort of group within that church, get in one today. Because you're not gonna. It takes time to develop those friendships where you feel the freedom to do that.
Yeah.
So man, get on it today.
And find someone of the same sex to talk to
Yes,
as
that's
well
big.
that you
Yeah.
really feel like, just like Caleb.
So when you said whatever you said to your group, like the guy I was talking about earlier, it's like you can kind of see the weight lift off of the person as
you
soon
almost
as they say
smile
it out loud.
as
Yeah.
you finish.
Yeah, that's why
Thank
inside
you.
I'm begging him to say it because I know he's going to feel better once he does.
Isn't that crazy?
But how did you were a little, you said you were a little nervous to say something, but how did you feel once you did? What was their reaction?
Well, their reaction was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you for telling us. Like,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. Like, I'm so glad that you said this." And they like, I get patted on the back because they're like, "The fact that you realized like that 3 days ago, like, is awesome, and now you can like take it on." And like, I get to celebrate with my friends because there's no expectation for me to be perfect.
Yeah.
I better see my buddy Blake have an issue in the future, not because I want him to have an issue, because we're human and everyone's gonna have their issues. But like, I would expect the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
we're doing this all together. Imperfect people serving a perfect God. Like, the expectation is you're not gonna do well in the next
Right.
year. If you are doing well, you're lying.
Yeah. And another part of this is like, one, you have your safe people. Like, I mean, I know I could call my sister Dixie right now and be like, we got to chat. We got to sit down. I got to bring it to the light. I got to have this. But I also think then it's like, once you say it, not being like, wow, now I said it, so I'm just going to hit resume. Like, you
Like a
actually have,
checkbox.
yes, because there's
time.
that allure of, I
Very
said
true.
it, I acknowledged
Yeah.
it.
This is not a checklist. This is not a checklist that we're talking about.
You're going to have to start actually changing some things. Like, this is one, okay, I struggled with feeling like God had forgot about me. Like, God wasn't listening to my prayers. God, and I was like, I'm so mad at you. Like, I was literally mad at the Lord. And this was probably a year ago. I was like, I'm so mad at you. You're not listening to me. You don't care about what I care about. And it was because, like, I wasn't married. I was like, I'm not married. This is the worst. And it was this sin pattern of, like, not trusting God. Like, truly believing God was withholding something from me. And I had to sit down and say, I remember it was my sister who was like, the lie that the enemy has told us since the beginning is that God is withholding something good from you. Like the enemy loves to be like, oh, to Eve, he's like, God has all this wisdom. He's not giving it to you. Ha ha ha. He's withholding. And she's like, well, now you know that that's a lie. So like, what are you going to do now? And I literally sat down and I was like, what are things that are amplifying this pattern? Like what's making,
really cool.
what's making me more like upset at God? What's amplifying this need that I feel like God's withholding? And I started looking at my life and I was like, first of all, every music song I listen to is about love. And I was like, this sounds silly, but it was like, everything I listen to is sad songs about people loving each other. Okay, that puts it on my mind. Everything I watch on TV is like love shows and movies about love and marriage and all these things. And I'm like, okay, that also. And I started listing out all these things like, wait, I'm literally feeding myself like what's fueling my discontentment and feeding into the sin. And so I had to like look at my life and look at my patterns and actually start shifting some things. Like, so I made it a rule, like I was only going to listen to worship music in the car because that helped break the brain loop and the pattern, because it takes a long time to form healthy habits, but it's so quick to form a negative one. Like forming a routine that's healthy takes a long time, but sin takes over so quick. But actually, like if you know your sin, you can learn how to break it. Like, you know, maybe nighttime is a time for you where you're going to struggle with certain sins and temptations. Well, then maybe make a plan. And maybe you know that if you're around a certain group of people, you're going to jump back into that sin. So, like, actually looking at your life and saying, what rhythms have I inadvertently created and how can I change them? And actually start to make a shift where I'm not just saying, I want to go to the gym, but I'm actually getting in my car and going. Not just having this idea of I'm going to break a sin pattern, but actually figuring out how to do it.
So we're coming up with some steps here.
Yeah.
Identify it, confess it to God, like you said. Get people around you can talk to about it.
Yeah.
Start change your environment.
Yep.
That's what you're getting at. I mean, that can apply to whatever sin you're thinking of. There's rarely a sin that's like, just totally internal and I can't not be with myself. No, there are things in your environment that are affecting the decisions you make.
Yeah.
So that's the easy thing to go to with something like pornography, but you're talking about changing your environment with an attitude you felt towards God.
Yeah.
Who was it? Maybe help me out, Dylan, just to bring it into scripture. First of all, James said, therefore confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. So like, we're not just blowing smoke here, guys.
This is not.
We're trying to like really be rooted in the scripture here. But I'm also thinking about like Sodom and Gomorrah. Like, I don't know, like talk about environment, right? Who was it that sent, they lived in Sodom and Gomorrah and like their daughters were there?
Lot.
So I think about Lot, like Lot is a man of God. And yet he put himself in a position, was surrounded himself with people who were completely changing the way that he acted and was making sinful decisions as a result. He had no community around him whatsoever. And so that's what led him to do what he did.
And 2 Peter even learned this the hard way, because I didn't mention this in a sermon that I preached about Lot recently. Oops. But
Redemption.
This is my confession and my apology. 2 Peter even talks about he's a righteous man who is grieved by the things happening around him. But we also see in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, it's like he's kind of participating in some of it.
Yes.
Like he's part of it.
Right.
And I see that as like, man, he's immersed in this environment, and it's hard to live a life honoring God when you keep putting yourself in ungodly environments.
And we have to love holiness more than we love sin, because if we love our sin and we love the comfortability of it and we love if we love sin, there's some sins where you're like, I like this. And it's hard to admit that, but we have to love holiness more than we love that sin and we love that pattern. And that can mean taking drastic changes of, I've got to shift my environment. Yeah. I've got to start asking myself hard questions and implementing accountability. And it's not going to happen overnight. And I think a thing that I remind myself of is celebrate the small victories. Don't only celebrate when you're free from the sin. Like, hey, I went a day today and that was big and I'm proud of myself. Yeah. And celebrating those things, because if not, it's going to feel daunting. You're like, it's going to take me forever to get free of this. And it's like celebrating it and being proud of yourself for the steps you're taking because it is a big deal. Like you said, like pornography. Like if you've been watching pornography every day for a month and you go a week without it, that's huge. And like, don't undervalue that, and don't be like, well, I'm not going to celebrate until I'm completely free. It's like celebrate along the way, but keep your eye like on that goal of like, okay, I'm going to keep my eyes on the Lord, and I'm going to keep my eyes on this end goal of being completely free from this.
Yeah, we talked about not having a vision at the very beginning, and I want to encourage anybody who's listening to this thinking like, I can never break free of whatever my sin pattern is, whatever that is. And as the elder on the podcast, just want to encourage you, like, there are things that used to be true about me that now I can't even remember the last time that particular sin was part of my life, because it's been so long now. And that is all credit to Jesus changing me. But like, I say all that to say, dude, there's freedom from it. Like, there's a whole other life on the other side of this that you can live. Yeah. And
make that your reason, you know?
Yes. Like, keep that in mind. There's a day coming where you're going to be like, man, it's been a long time since I've felt that way, since that's been true of me. Yeah. And you can get there. If you'll be willing to put in the work, you can get there.
Yeah. But freedom from sin doesn't come from passivity. Like, you're not going to be freed from sin by being passive and being like, eventually I'll stop. Or one day when I'm an adult, like, and I'm married with kids, like, then I'll shift. It's like, no, like, it comes from you saying, I see it, and I'm going to take major action to be free from it. And like leaning on the Lord, because the Holy Spirit gives you all you need. Like, the Lord is there to guide you through it, and you don't have to do it from your own strength. That's like Paul. That's like, I don't do the things that I want to do, and I do the things that I don't want to do. Paul. And it's like, I get it. And like, our spirit is willing, but our flesh is weak. And that is why we have to lean on the Lord to be free from sin. It's not from Delaney's strength that I'm going to be free from sin. It's through the Lord's. But I have to say, Lord, help me be free from this. Bring people around me. Help me change my environment, but consistently leaning back on the Lord who gives you all you need.
Just really quick as like a reference for people, like I walked this with my D group with Mark, and we went through Romans 6, 7, and 8. I think that's right, or 5, 6, is it 6, 7, and 8?
You said 6, 7 on our podcast.
Oh man,
very funny.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Funny.
I can't
Elder Dylan. Elder Dylan's in touch.
I have a 7 and a 4-year-old. I can't escape it.
Yeah,
I understand. Okay. But yeah, 6, 7, and 8, I think. Yeah. Like, seriously, if you haven't like sat down and done a word study commentary on like understanding what sin does to us and like how we should be treating sin, not just as something we just try to avoid, but more it's like we're trusting the Father to work through us because we can't do it on our own. Like, it seriously just reframed the way that I looked at how we combat sin.
Yeah. There's a book sitting on our table right here. Why do I do what I don't want to do? Shout out to the books on our table.
Shout out to the books on the table.
It's a Jonathan Bacluta book. This is exactly what he's talking about. You're frustrated with the sin in your life. What do I do to actually get past it?
Chris wants to read it. Look at him. He's like, can I take this with me?
I'm just going to speed read it real quick. You talked about being willing to do the work, not being passive about it. And sometimes we think we're working hard at something, but then you read second time talking about Hebrews 12 today.
Hebrews 12 for the win.
The writer of Hebrews talking, whoever he or she is, for consider Jesus, who endured such hostility from sinners against himself, so that you won't grow weary and give up. Yeah. Talking about fighting sin here. Verse 4. In struggling against sin, you have not yet resisted to the point of shedding your blood. Okay. This is something this is not something that we are passive about. In fact, this is something we go on the offensive about. When we see sin in our lives, it should be red flags, sirens going off. I've got to get rid of this because I want my life to honor Jesus in every aspect. Yeah. So, man, we resist. And we work hard at it.
Yeah, clip that.
And just acknowledging, like, sin is always going to overpromise and underdeliver. And, like, sin is tempting. And sin wants you to be like, oh, it's not a big deal. This isn't a big deal. But the thing is sin really does entangle us. It takes over everything. And it's like Hebrews 12. It's like, I want to run this race well. I want to live my life well. And it's saying, like, this is a serious thing. Yeah. And if sin is serious, we need to take serious action to get ourselves out of it. Through what the Lord's doing. We need his strength, but we need to be, like, taking it seriously in our own lives and fighting for it, because I don't want to look back and be like, I knew about this sin for years and I've done nothing. Like, nothing good comes from that.
Yeah. Is that your TLDR?
Yeah, my TLDR is that sin overpromises and underdelivers, so you better put in the work to get free from it. The Lord will give you all you need, but you have to be willing to say yes, because he can't work through you if you're like, Lord, just do it for me. Like you gotta have that willingness.
That's good.
Sin is icky. Write that down.
Sin is icky.
Sin is icky. Ew.
Man.
Yuck.
Wow, we've taken a turn.
Oh man, the brain rot just came
What's
through.
yours, Don? I'm pulling up
Mine
scripture. I'm sorry.
Would be as you confess sin to somebody else, be specific.
Oh.
Like, don't beat around the bush about whatever it is. Be very specific about it,
Nice.
because your accountability is only as good as you are honest.
Yeah.
Dylan.
Fire.
Wow.
Yes.
Where'd that come from?
Pastor
I don't know.
Dylan.
Where did that come from?
Pastor Dylan, we're just gonna be quiet. You
No,
just need to take
I've had guys in discipleship groups before who 9 months in said, "Hey, this thing that I've told you the whole time I haven't been doing, I have been doing." And
So
It's
hard.
hard.
he just lied to us. The accountability was there. It was available to him, but he didn't take advantage of it because he wasn't honest. And that breaks my heart, you know? He could have had 9 months of freedom
True.
and built on that.
TLDR. Just basically what you said, Delaney. Like your environment is everything, and
Yeah.
like the Bible leans into that as well. Like Matthew 18. This is my TLDR. If your hand or your foot causes you to fall away, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life maimed or lame than to have 2 hands or 2 feet and be thrown in the eternal fire.
Yeah.
Like that isn't meant to be taken like exactly literally, but the point is that's how serious sin is and how we
serious.
should be responding to as if it's a disease that we need to cut away from our body. Like look at it like it is the absolute black plague. So that's
Yeah.
Yeah, don't look at sin and be like, it's not a big deal. Like that, the enemy loves for you to underestimate what sin's actually doing to you. Ick.
Yep.
Yuck. Yuck.
See you guys.
Okay, bye.